This is Mattoon, Illinois. It's the self-proclaimed bagel capital of the world.
Oh, great. So much for bagels.
So much for what?
A short drive away from such things as the world's fastest soda machine
Quickest thing around.
and the two-story outhouse,
Oh, God, stop!
and the only place in the world where Burger King is banned from expanding its Burger Kingdom. Oh yeah, and also all of Australia too, kind of. Let me explain. Our story begins in 1952 with Jean and Betty Hoots. They purchased an ice cream stand called the Frigid Queen from Jean's uncle. The stand did well. A couple of years later, they started selling burgers and fries, and the Hootses renovated a two-car garage that was just behind the Frigid Queen to add a grill and a counter, and wanted to give this new addition its own distinct identity. The couple went through a list of potential names, but nothing really stuck until one day, Betty had an idea. Every queen needs a king, she said, and thus they chose the name Burger King for their new restaurant. Jean's uncle, who had sold him the Frigid Queen, told Jean to register the new name as a trademark in the state of Illinois. And so the Hootses did just that, paying a $25 fee in 1959. But little did they know another Burger King, based in Florida, was setting their sights on expanding their Burger Kingdom throughout the Midwest. One day, Jean opened a fast food industry publication to find an article announcing Burger King was opening their first restaurant in Skokie, Illinois, about 200 miles away. This wasn't their Burger King, so Jean brought the article to his lawyer, who told him the Burger King of Florida wasn't within their rights to do that without permission. Nonetheless, Burger King opened in Skokie in July of 1961, and then, having used the name Burger King since its Florida beginnings in 1954, they received a federal trademark that October. By 1962, the two Burger Kings exchanged trademark infringement notices. Then, Burger King of Florida opened a restaurant in Champaign, Illinois, which is only 52 miles and less than an hour's drive away. This was a little too close to home for Burger King of Mattoon, so they sued Burger King of Florida in state court. Burger King of Florida turned around and sued Burger King of Mattoon in federal court for violating their trademark, with Burger King of Mattoon responding by filing for an injunction based on the infringement of their Illinois trademark. By this point, Burger King of Florida had established 50 restaurants throughout Illinois, whereas Burger King of Mattoon had one in Mattoon. In 1967, the case went to federal court, and the judge said, "To plant a like to help the channel grow, thank you so much." Oh, and also that the federal trademark takes precedence over a state trademark. Had Burger King of Mattoon expanded at a similar rate, this might not have been quite as clear of a win for Burger King of Florida. And so, it was declared that Burger King of Florida was the one true Burger King in the United States, but with one small catch. Because of their previous use before the federal trademark registration, and the fact that they weren't made aware of another Burger King when they filed for their state trademark, Burger King of Mattoon continues to hold the exclusive rights to the Burger King name within a 20-mile radius of Mattoon, Illinois. If Burger King wants to set up shop there, they can only do so on Burger King of Mattoon's terms. Betty Hoots once recalled Burger King offered $10,000 to open a restaurant, and she said no. Actually, she was quoted as saying, "We told them to get lost." For that reason, you won't find the Whopper sandwich if you dine at the Burger King in Mattoon. Instead, you'll find the Hooter Burger, which is a quarter-pound cheeseburger. To pick up a Whopper, you'll need to take a half-hour, 23-mile drive north to Tuscola, Illinois, one of more than 300 locations in the rest of Illinois. Although original owners Jean and Betty Hoots have since passed away, Burger King continues on in Mattoon, true to their vision to this day. And in 1998, a Burger King spokesman said, "We're happy with the way our kingdoms have peacefully coexisted over the years." Today, Mattoon remains the only place in North America where a different Burger King holds the fast food crown, but up until the mid-1990s, it was joined by the much larger market of Edmonton, Alberta. William Jarvis and James Ray approached Dairy Queen for a franchise in Edmonton, and Dairy Queen said no. So they started their own ice cream stand. When their lease was up and they had to move the business to a new location in 1956, they decided to add burgers to the menu, and Jarvis was quoted as saying they thought of the name Burger King right out of the air. But they didn't stop at ice cream and burgers. To make the story even more confusing, in 1959 they acquired the rights to the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in Edmonton. So many of these locations wound up being co-branded both Burger King, their own, and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Toward the mid-1960s, Burger King of Florida was like, hey, we want to open restaurants in Canada too. But unlike the situation in Mattoon, Burger King of Alberta didn't just register the trademark in Alberta, they registered it for all of Canada. So negotiations began, and eventually they reached a deal. Burger King of Edmonton sold the rights to the name everywhere except all of northern Alberta up to Innisfail. By 1969, Burger King of Florida opened its first Canadian location in Windsor, Ontario, and continued its expansion, eventually reaching southern Alberta as well.
So you can get a shake, fries, and a Canadian burger here. But if you're hooked on Whoppers, burger bundles, or bacon double cheeseburgers, you've got to be like Bob Thompson and head south to Calgary.
The Edmontonian Burger King chain would peak at 12 locations in 1975, and by 1995, the last two remaining Burger Kings in Edmonton sold their naming rights for $1 million, clearing the way for the US Burger King to set up shop. And as for the former Edmontonian Burger Kings, some of them are still around today, just with a different nobility title. But now, let's switch continents entirely and focus on Australia, and the curious case of a restaurant that looks a lot like Burger King, makes and sells Whoppers, but isn't Burger King. Here, our story begins with Jack Cowan, a Canadian who, at the age of 26, moved to Australia looking to run his own business. Seeing opportunities in fast food, where there had been few competitors to that point, he started in 1969 by bringing KFC to Western Australia. And after opening 8 KFC locations, he bought the Australian franchise rights to Burger King. There was only one problem though. There was already a Burger King, and not only was the trademark registered, there were more locations than one. This Burger King was started by an American entrepreneur named Don Dervin in 1962, and it would go on to expand to 17 restaurants across southern Australia. By 1971, with the US Burger King looking to expand to Australia, Dervin was open to the idea of selling his Burger King. That is, everything but the trademark. He thought at some point that he might want to return to the business, so he wanted to keep the name. This put the US Burger King and Jack Cowan in a tough spot. How can they expand their franchise without the most recognizable element of the chain? At the time, Pillsbury, yes, that Pillsbury, was the parent company of Burger King, and they said to Cowan, well, this is too bad, but we do have the trademarks to all these other names that you could use instead. Cowan chose Hungry Jack, a brand of pancake mix that's still around today but now owned by a different company. But Cowan changed the name just a little bit to add an apostrophe S, making it Hungry Jack's. And thus, Hungry Jack's became the de facto Burger King franchise in Australia, with its first location opening in Perth in 1971. Over the decades, Hungry Jack's continued to expand, and by 1996, the original Burger King trademark held by Don Dervin would lapse. He never did return to start Burger King 2.0. So this means that they can just change the name and now we have Burger King in Australia, right? Well, Burger King did open in Australia, but this is where the story gets a little messy. Burger King Corporation's agreement with Hungry Jack's stated that 4 restaurants had to open each year. This was the basis for Burger King to say, the franchise deal is off, we're opening our own Burger Kings. And they did. Needless to say, Hungry Jack's was not okay with this, not least because they were doing their best to continue growing, but found themselves facing significant obstacles when dealing with the king. They took legal action, and in 2001 the case went to the Supreme Court of New South Wales, who ruled in favor of Hungry Jack's. Long story short, this led to Australia's 81 Burger King locations being transferred over to Hungry Jack's by 2003, and Hungry Jack's sticking with the brand it had worked for decades to build in Australia. Today, Jack Cowan's company, Competitive Foods Australia, remains the Australian franchisee of Burger King Corporation, and the two companies work together harmoniously, which is why the branding, minus the name, still looks familiar to anyone not from Australia. But aside from the Whopper, the menu has some significant differences. For example, if it's breakfast you're after, you won't find the croissant in Australia, but you might order a Jack's Brekkie roll instead. For Hungry Jack's part, they say that their menu is adapted based on customer demand, which really harkens back to that old Burger King slogan, "Have it your way," doesn't it? If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this slice of company history. Click to watch that. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.